The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
Reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus instructed the 12 as follows. Anyone who prefers father or mother to me is not worthy of me. Anyone who prefers sons or daughter to me is not worthy of me. Anyone who does not take his cross and follow in my footsteps is not worthy of me. Anyone who finds his life will lose it. Anyone who loses his life for my sake will find it. Anyone who welcomes you welcomes me. And those who welcome me welcome the one who sent me. Anyone who welcomes a prophet because he is a prophet will have a prophet's reward. And anyone who welcomes a holy man because he is a holy man will have a holy man's reward. If anyone gives so much as a cup of cold water to one of these little ones because he is a disciple, then I tell you solemnly, he will most certainly not lose his reward. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
I wonder, anyone of you who has an experience of when you're invited to a home, then you reach the home, you experience that you are not welcome. You know, you say, funny, you walk inside the home and the person who invited you, the host, just look at you, not even a smile, not even a handshake or a hug. How would you feel? Most of us, if that is my experience, I would say, my God, why invited me in the first place that you don't welcome me into your home? Now I look at the faces. Do you understand my English or not? Because some of you look at me. I think that choke tongue like that, you know, listen properly. Okay. I like the entrance hymn today. Very nice hymn to welcome all of you here to worship God. The word welcome in today's gospel, anyone who welcomes me, you know, and those who welcome me, welcome the one who sent me. So every Sunday we gather to enter into the house of God. We expect God to welcome us. We expect God to embrace us as we come to the Eucharist. Don't we? Or you're not sure? So if this is our anticipation every Sunday as we come to the Eucharist, to be welcomed by God, to experience Him, that is a good thought. That is a good anticipation. But then we have to ask ourselves, as I entered the church this morning, with the clarity of my mind and heart that today, Sunday, is a day that I come and spend my time to worship God. And I wanted to welcome God into my heart. Then what is my attitude of responding? In our human experiences, sometimes we overlook a lot of things because we thought that it's normal. Sometimes because of our personality or what we call routine. Every Sunday, as Catholic, we have to come to Mass. So we can become a kind of routine. Sunday I must come. Some of us come with a welcoming attitude. Some of us come, I don't know how to describe. Every time I celebrate Mass and I walk in, sometimes I get disappointed. Sometimes I wonder, am I in the right place? Because if we all have the spirit of welcoming and embracing God's presence in the Eucharist here, then we are so happy to be here. Sometimes we all can say, looks can kill. Because sometimes as I walk in and look at some of you here, the looks already tell me, Father, today you don't talk too long. And the looks can tell you, look, when you look at your face, suddenly I got all the psychological fear. My God. Today's gospel, it may be difficult to understand, but it's a reality of our life that Jesus spoke about. We all can believe God. We all know, we ought to believe. For some of us, we believe. But the attitude doesn't show that we believe. And that is our human problem. Not that God is not present in the Eucharist that we are worshiping every Sunday, but we are the one, in one human as words, we are the problem. We are the one who created a lot of problem. Perhaps this week, let's take some time. Ask ourselves and examine our lives. What is our attitude each time when we want to come for Mass? I know some of us here have shared testimony. I heard also many testimony of people coming here and experience God's presence in the Eucharist. And they really experience God touching them. And I thank you for that, for the sharing of your faith. And it is the truth that no one can take away this truth, that every Sunday we gather in the spirit of worship and truth. God is here to welcome us. But when we know that God is here to open His arms to embrace us and welcome us, do we then, on our response, also open our hearts and arms to embrace God's presence and embrace each other's presence? I like to make this proposal. This week, if you have some time in our silent prayer, reflect this word of welcoming, of embracing, not only practice with your family. For parents who have young children, I'm sure most of the parents will agree with me. Sometimes we have forgotten when the children are growing up, when young, we embrace them, children embrace it so innocently. Every time see us and run to us, embrace, embrace. They very feel welcome. I can see some children here. But then after a while, when you all grow up like that, even let's say we are now, even our mother is 90 years old. When we were young, we embraced our parents. But when we're much older, we don't embrace our parents anymore. Maybe some of us still do. When I started to embrace my mother, she was very uncomfortable. Because in my culture at home, so many children, although mom loves us, but it's not in our culture of, embracing, every time go and kiss my mom every time. And I started that. And my mom was very uncomfortable. Then my mom, typical Teochew, would say, "Look, why you kiss me?" I said, "You are my mother." So from there on, I started to kiss, I started to hug. Gradually, my family also, embraced her. And afterwards, you can see that, although now she's dementia, every time I go back home, I will kiss her on the cheek and hold her. In our human touch of experiencing a certain gesture, we can also be aware of a certain gesture of a human touch, parents to parents, or parents to parents, or husband and wife, to also, how do we integrate it in the spiritual life of welcoming Christ? And part of the welcoming Christ is to open our hearts, to sing together, to pray together. Like this morning, the song is so beautiful, welcome. I pray that each time you come to the Eucharist, there is always a new experience of God's presence in your life. That every Eucharist, when you come, is not the same as last Sunday. Because every Eucharist, God is working, God is actively involving, God is always welcoming. But do you and I come here every Sunday to welcome him and to embrace him.